Okay, so we are live now. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Um, Once again, welcome to Ideate 5.0. And I want to use this opportunity to once again congratulate you for making it to this cohort 5 out of hundreds of applications we received across Africa. So we have participants from South Africa, we have people from Ghana, we have people from Zimbabwe and other African countries. So I just want to use this opportunity to congratulate you again. Today is the first day of your Ideate 5.0 session. And as you may have already been informed, you are expected to make up to 80% of the sessions before we can graduate you as an Ideate 5 fellow. So keep that in mind. So without taking much of our time, we have with us today our facilitator for today in the person of Theodore Longi. Hello, Theodore.
Hello, Pascal. Hello,
Yeah.
participants.
So participant, if you guys can hear me, please drop a comment in the session. Tell us your name, your country, and your startup. The facilitator is eager to know the sectors you are working in and your startup so that he knows the best way to engage you guys. I can see that up to 10 persons are online and more people are coming in. So drop your name, Ayomide. Okay. So please drop your name, your startup name, and all, so that the facilitator can engage more with you guys. So without taking more time, we will introduce our facilitator right now, so that he will commence with the session. Okay, so let's quickly read Theodore's bio. So Theodore, for the past 10 years, he has championed and sustained the conversation around entrepreneurship and innovation and policy shaping around Nigeria and Africa. He is a mentor at VC for Africa, and he has mentored in the following program, including his participation as the implementation partner for the Next Economy Program, a Dutch government intervention for Africa, Startup Nigeria by Ventures Platform Foundation, African Entrepreneurship Award, Click on Kaduna, NIDA Ties Program. He's also the lead at NHub, and he holds a key role at ISN, um, an association of innovation support um, partners across Africa. Please join me in welcoming Theodore Longi. Theodore, you have the floor now.
Thank you. Uh, I feel excited to be here with you guys. I'd like to also congratulate you for making it up to Ideate 5.0, and also want to appreciate Pascal and the team at Inspire for putting up a program like this. So much usually goes into programs such as this. Um, when when I saw the opportunity, I quickly reached out because I wanted to just be part of what um, I just wanted to do my bit, just to ensure that we have just contribute and ensure that I inspire. I did 5.0 is successful, so I reached out, and I'm here. I appreciate the opportunity, and to just share knowledge here and there. So welcome everyone. Um, we're going to be looking at business idea validation and market research. For me, um, it's like setting the foundation for success. If you get your business idea validation correct and also your market research correct, then you have set a foundation for success. By the way, I would love to this section to be interactive as much as possible. And I don't know if this app allows for a way where people can raise their hands or put up their hands. I like to see people who are familiar. I want to know how many of these guys are familiar with tools like BMC, that's Business Model Canvas, and Link Canvas, Innovation Canvas. Yeah, these tools. Is anyone familiar with that? If there's a way you can respond, just respond. It's because it is critical. These are tools that enables us, just start up, gain clarity. Now, one of the things that this session will do for us is to just enable us find clarity in different sectors. It doesn't mind. It doesn't matter what sector you are operating or you intend to operate. I understand some of you are already, your startups are already up and running, and some of you are probably trying to put one or two together to ensure your takeoff. But this is at the very, very basic level, business idea validation and market research. This is because it is critical for either your success or your failure. Two things will happen. If you don't take off in a way, a manner that it's supposed to, two things will happen to you. You either succeed or you either fail. So, in order to reduce chances of failure and increase the chances of success, idea validation is critical, and also market research is critical. Now, what is idea validation? Idea validation is the process of evaluating, testing the feasibility of an idea before its launch. Now, business idea before its launch. This is critical because you don't just wake up one day and marshal up resources, put up resources, and just, hey, I know someone who is in this space. Okay, I want to go into fintech. I want to develop a technology that enables payment, or that, yeah, across um, across your country, or even across Africa. You can't just wake up and do that. You have to look at a lot of things. You have to ensure you have, first, the market. Second, you have to check competition. Third, you have to check the customer, whether there's customer for this your idea. These are very critical things. The market segment, you have to check whether there's market for it, that particular thing you want to do. Because the people who are already there, who are your competitors, who will eventually become your competitors, already have, they have divided this the uh, what's available, the market size. Somebody is holding maybe 10%, somebody is holding 30%, somebody 50, somebody 70. So what is left probably is what as a new. guy coming into that space, you will hold on to. So it entails a lot of research. It entails a lot of due diligence. You don't just wake up and dive into business because you want to start business, even if you have the money. See, in starting a business, there are very critical things. Your time, your money, they are all involved. You don't want to start something at the end of the day and then you get tired, things are not working, and you say, hey, I think it's time for me to just end this journey. Because business is a journey. Now, one of the things about entrepreneurship that I like to put here, to state here, is entrepreneurship, right? It's a growth engine that is disguised, right, as a business pursuit. Now, one of the things that it does, entrepreneurship in itself does to us, that entrepreneurs such as yourself and myself, it kind of enables us to grow. We read a lot, we experience a lot, you know. So all this ensures you grow. Your knowledge base increases with the things you learn. You attend this workshop, like what you are doing right now is part of it. If you are not an entrepreneur, you'll not be here listening to me. You'll not even have the time. But you made the time to listen, to learn, and to grow. So entrepreneurship is already, we're already in it, growing. And at every point, we'll keep learning when we keep growing, right? So I like to start this way. Normally, you think about ideas. Some people just dream about an idea, and some people, it's a pain point. At the point of a pain, they come up with an idea and say, "Hey, this will never happen." For instance, I'll give you a story. Um, Someone, the pain that actually drove him into this space to become an entrepreneur and a founder is that was that um, he his sister took ill. She went to a pharmacy. Somehow, um, they prescribed, examined her, and they decided to give her an injection. So after the injection, something happened. Somehow she began to have issues with her legs and all that, and it became very serious. And what they began to investigate, and they don't realize that the injection they gave her was expired. Now, so what is the reason? Why did that happen? I mean, is it a deliberate thing from the guys who administered, you know, the injection or the pharmacy? He began to research, to investigate, and I realized that most of these guys, it's not entirely, I'm not saying that, I'm not justifying that people should go ahead, go on administering expired drugs and all that. But when you begin to empathize, in coming up with a solution, you have to empathize. You have to look at different angles. When I realized that these people get to buy the pharmacy store, they get to buy drugs worth millions of naira. Let me just use naira, or millions of dollars. And if they don't get to sell these drugs before the expiry date, they are stuck. Sometimes they are forced to sell it the way it is, right? Sometimes, somehow. I'm not justifying again. But so there has to be, it's a problem. So how do we solve this? I mean, resolve this problem or solve this problem? So the guy now began to research and now realized that, okay, how about coming up with a solution where a platform, you know, that connects different guys who are in this space, either running a pharmacy or something. So drugs that are beginning to expire, someone somewhere um, will will order for it. If there's need for it, will buy it and use it before it gets expired. You know, that way there's connection, there's communication. I get to know, I get to, you know, put my drugs maybe from 6 months before its expiry date. The platform enables me to put that out, and then someone somewhere who needs that drug could buy it in large quantity. So that will help reduce the amount of drugs or the number of drugs that gets expired. So somebody doesn't have to be tempted to want to sell it or administer it to someone. So these are areas, these are things, these are how people think about ideas. So he came up with the idea, began to look up research, who and who is in that space. Are there startups who are doing similar things? If these guys are there, they have gone ahead of you. You learn from their journey, either through interview or simply by just looking them up, learn a thing or two, and then begin to look at the market size, begin to look at what the customers look like, how do they want these things, um, delivered to them. This is how you begin to research, an idea that you just think of. And there are so many ways to think of ideas too. um, I can just sit down and just see an opportunity and say, okay, if I do this, if I do that, I'll be able to make money from it. Then I'll begin to go into research. I'll begin to validate the idea. First, is the idea good enough? Are there customers waiting for it? Is there a market first for it? General market first, before you even think of looking at a niche market. Then, you know, you move in that direction to ensure that you're not just doing something that uh, will just collapse on the way after spending time, money, and energy. So, what you're doing is good for you. It's not for anyone, it's for you, the founder. Have you done your research? Look up time and time again. That has always been the problem. I've met people, I've talked to people, young people who just come and say, "Hey, this is what we're so excited." You know how you can get excited about new ideas. It's nice. I mean, it can be so exciting when you figure something out. You know, but then it goes beyond that. It goes beyond just having an exciting idea. There's so much work ahead. So, hey, this thing, can we just chill, just slow down a little bit? Let's take it easy. Let's begin to validate. Let's begin to do the market research to ensure we have people who will want what we're building. You don't want to build something that nobody wants to buy or patronize, whether it's a service or as a product. Very, very critical. Now, um, if you look at how your in fact your entry to the market is even critical, right? Some of these things, what they do is help your go-to market strategy. So once you launch, you move your product into the market, you have already um, understand what it takes, right? You have this understanding, this knowledge. So you're going into the market with lots of knowledge and understanding, uh, a strategy that will enable you just plug into the market and begin to make money while you provide value. Of course, what you're providing is value, and the customers are also looking for value. So if they don't see value, they have no business doing anything with your product or your service. After all, there are other businesses who are doing similar things before your entrance into the market. So why would I want to patronize you? So you should look up. You should do your due diligence. This is expected of you as a founder. Now, I like to talk about um, uh, the, the different ways you can go about your research. Um, First off, if you are building a product, um, let's say a platform that does certain services, people can just um, log into the platform and just do a few things and pay uh, whatever it is and just pay up. Um, so it is expected that you start small. One of the ways again is to get this come up with a survey, right? There's primary research. There's also secondary research. Primary research is basically um, uh, getting information from the source. That's your potential customers, either through survey or you build a landing page. That landing page can collect information from your customers, and the feedback is what you use to fine tune or even pivot if you have to. Then, so your survey, you get your information, you pull out your information, you analyze the information, whatever the outcome is, you use it, to um, apply it on the platform, ensure you're giving the right value, and then um, secondary is something someone has already worked on. It's already a research or data out there somewhere. You have access to it. Now the only problem there is the problem of citation bias, because this research was not done with you in mind, right? Somebody did it for himself. He just decided, kind enough and gracious enough to put it out there. Even though, yes, there are one or two things that you can learn from that. You can learn um, trend, market trend, and a few things, but it's not done with you in mind. So that's the reason why it's very, very important to do your own research about the product that you want to put out there. Know the specific market, the industry, and who the customers are. And one of the things, again, that I want to stress out here, your competitors. Remember, it's one of the reasons, is the three things I mentioned, right? The target market as a whole, um, then the competition, and then also the customers. Now, the competition, you need to study your competitors or competition. You need to study them. They're already in the market. There's always a loophole. They can never get it right. So that's why there's room for growth. So how about capitalizing on those areas if you get to see it? So, and the best way to know about a product is through a customer who's been patronizing it. So if I know that you you use a particular product, you are the best person for me to get insight from, to get more insight, yeah, on that specific product or service. Let's say if I'm going to do a research on, let's say, flutter wave. I know somebody who does flutter waves for, he uses flutter wave for transactions, moving money here and there. I'll look for that person and ask him, interview him. What are the issues? He will be able to tell you if there are issues. He will tell you this is what, yeah, I'm enjoying flutter wave, but this is the issues I have. But then, well, they're still better. At least they're better than the previous guy. Do you understand? Or the previous company. So these are the things you get to hear, when you begin to interview. So at the end of the day, this person who has been using, who is a customer of this particular competition, will tell you the secrets. He will tell you what he doesn't like and what he likes about this guy. So it's for you to get back, and then since you're building, and then try to see how you can beat them at their game. So this is the way you. So it is very, very important to look at the competition, look at him, assess him, analyze, study, see the loopholes. There's always something. And then apart from just looking at the loopholes, what are they doing very well? Look at their strategy, look at their communication, look at their messages, look at their text messages. There's something to see. If you're in operating in that fintech space, you will need to understudy the guys who are already doing well in that space. It gives you a lot to learn. This space, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to be a founder, it's one space that keeps you on your toes. You don't sit back, you don't relax. You're either ready or you're not. It takes so much time, it takes so much of your time, it will. It takes a lot of studying, it takes a lot of learning, such as this. You're going to be attending plenty events like this, master classes, to improve your knowledge, to move you from position A to B, B to C, and C to D. Knowledge is critical in this space. There's nothing you can do about it. is critical. So the third one, you have to look at the customer. Whatever you're doing, is it big enough for customers? Is it big enough? Are you solving a real problem? Are you solving a real problem? Or something that people can walk around or can do without? It has to be something people cannot do without. That's how you succeed. That's how you have paying customers. That's how you have people repeatedly coming on over and over and over. That is something you build over time. But at the very, very basic level, you have to find out there are people who have this pain point, people who have this need. There's a demand. Is there a demand for it? If there's no demand for it, then you have no business. You have no business doing that business. Just concentrate on something else, but not this particular business. Sometimes we get stubborn. No, save yourself. You don't lose money. Save yourself. Time is money. Maybe if you don't see it that way, but time is money. Start the right way. Do your research. Validate the idea. How do you validate the idea? It's just English. Is the idea good? Is it good enough? That's validation. If your idea is good enough, then you move to the next level. So, we talked about just looking for any data. No. Can you generate your data? Because it's particular to you. Most of the things we see, this is people's work. It wasn't designed with us in mind. Don't be lazy. Go out there. Interview. There are many ways you can do this. You can interview, one-on-one interview. You can design your survey, right? A questionnaire. Put it out there. Get information. Analyze the information. There are people who can help you do the analysis if you can't. Get them on board before you put out that idea. Now, one of the things that if you already put out something out there, then what you need to do right now is get people opinion, get people's feedback. That feedback will help you whether to move on or not, whether to pivot or not, whether to iterate a bit to the right or to the left. Very valid information. They say feedback is a breakfast of champions. Champions, those people who win, they take feedback as their breakfast. They don't joke with it. And in this space, a lot of feedback is necessary for your next move. So before I even start spending my time on any idea, I would have gotten enough feedback. I would have validated the idea. I would have done some form of research to ensure there's market for it, there's a demand before I take the next move. Very, very critical. Now I'll tell you the story, a case. I don't know how many of you know Audio, ODEO. It used to be way back in the 1992 or so. It's been a while. Most of you might not know, but it's what we have as Twitter now. When they set up, it wasn't supposed to be. It was just a podcast, a podcast platform. They came in a little bit late. When so they now realized that hey, this ain't working. They wanted to do something. And now, at that time, um, so in the process, they now realized that their competition, who at that time is Apple, yeah, was already doing, has the market, the largest size of the market, so they just told themselves the truth. You know what? This whole thing, man. So they were open for partnership. So at that time, Dose was just a software engineer who now approached them. And, before you know it, they gave back to Twitter. That's what we have as Twitter. So market research, they researched the market, they knew who their competition was, and they told themselves the truth, man. These guys, they're solid. We don't have enough energy, enough money to compete with these guys. So let's pivot. Let's think about something else. One of the things I like this space as an entrepreneur is that you can think, no bureaucracy whatsoever. You can just keep evolving over time. You can change your business model. You can wake up and say, hey, this is not really working for us. Can we try it this way? Can we do this? We can that. There's a lot of flexibility that comes in this with this space that I love so much. That's why I'll always be an entrepreneur. I don't ever want to think of being anything else than an entrepreneur, because there's space for me. I can just sit back, think about something, and just wake up and then run with it. You know. So I tell you another story. What we have as YouTube started as a dating site. Well, the model was that um, there's a the dating. There's a part of it that you have to do some video and post it on the platform. So so after a while, they just realized. I think at that time, dating. There was this time that dating site was the thing. You had so much dating sites available. So at that time, it was ending when they just entered the market. So they realized that this wasn't working, and so they now say, "Hey, let's pivot. It's okay to pivot." So they now went back and took away the dating part of it and just left the video part of it. And so just within the shortest period of time, Google acquired it, and they became very rich. Three of the founders, three of them. So that's what we have as YouTube. Actually, Google acquired it from these guys, and So once you're building, you have to be open to change. Don't be too rigid, except it becomes absolutely necessary for you to be rigid. It means that there's so much going on while you're validating. Look, there's what we call solution, problem, fit, right? It means that you are trying to even solve the problem, provide the solution for this idea in that particular space that you're operating in, whether the agri sector, whether the finance sector, what we call the fintech, or wherever, e-commerce. So whatever you're building, whatever space you're operating, right? Um, you're even trying to really balance it or understand. You've not gotten that point yet. You're just trying to understand it. So once you acquire that, what we call that fit, achieve that fit, problem solution fit, then we know you have them. Then you can move to the next phase. At this phase, you're still at that basic level, trying to understand what the problem is that you're trying to solve. Is it really a problem? And that's why validation is crucial. Right. So, and then you have to even look at the regulatory bodies operating in that space. You have to look out. You don't want to start, you don't want to wake up one day and then realize that, oh, how comes I didn't know about this? I didn't see this information. Yeah, but it's somewhere out there. You didn't care or you didn't bother to check it out. Information is, it's always there. So you need to look at the regulatory bodies, find out. For instance, in fintech, we have regulator. The big regulator is the central banks. I don't know what it's called in other countries, but what we have in Nigeria is Central Bank of Nigeria. They regulate the fintech companies. The license alone is something. So let's even say you acquired, you're so rich, you could acquire, a CBN license to operate a fintech company. Now you're not even sure. You've not you've not researched your competitors, so you're just going in there like that without due diligence. No, it doesn't happen like that. If you're in the agri space, you need to also look up. Are there information available for me? What are the things? What's supported? We're not even talking about policy here. Policy goes much more. That's like the next level. But at this very level, what are the obtainables? What are the things available? What are the things that are supporting? It's what I'm building really something that the regulation is not saying otherwise about before I begin to spend money and my time. Very critical. So it's about a lot of information out there that you have to search, look for. You're the one who is building the idea. You're the one who's building the solution. Nobody will carry the information and come and give you. Thank God we have the internet. You can just at the comfort of your home search. If you need to go out there, you can go out there. There are phone calls. I mean phone numbers that you can call if you have to call. There are emails too if you have to send an email in case you need more clarity. These things are there. So you have no excuse at the end of the day. No excuse. So this basic level is critical. I was looking at a survey where I talked about businesses that failed. They failed because of most of them, 42% of the reason that businesses fail. It is because they avoided research. They have avoided idea validation. Yeah, it is the third on that list. Number three, aside other things. So we want to succeed, we have to start on a good note. And starting on a good note is doing your validation. So there's what we call direct and indirect um, um, kind of research. Once you talk about direct, you're talking about the people who are doing exactly what you're doing. The indirect are people who are doing something similar to what you're doing. There are information that you can deduce, right? Then you talk about feasibility, marketability. Is it really marketable? Is there a market for it? Is there a demand for it? You talk about technical feasibility. Is this something we can build? Do we need to hire someone from somewhere to help us build the platform? Do we even have um, this talent or this person with this technical knowledge to help us build? Very critical. Financial, feasibility. Do we even have what it takes to build? Even though I advise you build small, you build lean. Don't put everything. You build small, right? So do we have even the valuable resources at our because at this point, not too many investors in your ideas. And that's why family and friends usually they are your first adopters. They're the very few people who will just believe whatever, even as stupid as it looks. And most times our ideas look stupid until it begins to make sense. So these are very, very crucial, steps that we must not skip. If you skip any of these steps, you'll regret it. Trust me. Some of these things, we learn it the hard way. You don't have to learn it the hard way. That's why we have gone ahead of you. So what this does is to help you reduce your journey, so you don't go and then have to come back again. And that's why talks like this, I find it very, very interesting because somebody who has gone ahead of you is just sharing, his experience and telling you what to do, where and then you just pick it up and run with it. It reduces the journey. So I mean, it's very, very, very critical. I'll say it again, very, very critical. We must at any point say, no, come on, man, I know this too well. No, you don't. You have to go back, do the research like someone who has not done it before. You will be amazed at what you learn on the way. You will be amazed. Some of the things you assumption, do not even try it. It doesn't exist here. Do not assume things, please. Test it, try it, ask. If you must travel, travel. Go and find that information and come back. It will help you. So businesses must succeed. If they must succeed, then we have to start on a good footing. We must start on a good footing. We must start on a good footing. I don't know how much time I have, but if I still have I don't know, but so I don't take too much of our time. I know there will be question and answer session, but if I have much time, I could go on. If I don't have, then we can um, allow more time so people can ask questions. Yeah, Pascal, are you here? Okay, so maybe I can just go on. Yeah, so I talked about business model canvas, BMC. I talked about lean model canvas. I also talked about innovation canvas. I would have loved to see how many of us are familiar with those canvases. And then also customer personas. These are very critical tools that will enable you understand uh, the segments that you're operating. That's your market segments, and those who will help you um, deliver the services you are embarking on. And then some of the challenges, some of the risks involved in those ideas. Like for instance, Innovation Canvas does that a lot. I'd advise that, and some of the things I'll share with Pascal, I hope, so that you will share with you guys. It will really, really help you streamline and then optimize, and then be able to start on a very, very good footing, because like I said, it's critical. So this just give you clarity of mind, clarity, just give you clarity so that you can push in a way and manner that is sustainable, so that you don't wake up one day and you're so all tired because of little information that can help you while in this building phase. So yeah, and then again, one of the things again that I want to share is the fact that this journey usually um, does so many things to you as an entrepreneur. It builds you up. Some of the things that normally you will not do, it you will find yourself doing at some point. For instance, begin to interview people. Like when I find founders who I be like look strange, like they've never. I say, hey, it's solution you're building. You don't build in isolation. All right, you don't build in isolation. So you have to ask questions. You have to interview. Hey, what if we do it this way? I know this guy does it this way, but what if we do it this way? Would you still like it? Or how would you like it served? Or how would you like it delivered? So these are questions you keep asking. It forms the basic objective rather, and help you in even coming up or designing your questionnaire. What are the specific questions you want to ask? While once you are launching out to begin to you know get more information and feedbacks, to bring back and then wrong with it on your startup. Yeah. So Pascal just came in briefly. Pascal, please. Yeah.
Theodore, you have 2 hours. Yeah, that's 2 to 4. So if you
Oh,
are
oh,
done, maybe we can start taking the questions. So everyone, if you have questions for him, you can type it in the comment section. If you want to speak, just use indicate that you want to speak. We will bring you up to the studio to ask your question.
all
But
right.
you're done with the session, right, Theodore?
Yeah, I just wanted to be sure of how much time we have, so I don't overshoot the runway. But it's
Okay,
okay.
you still
We
have
should
to
be able
call.
to. Oh,
Okay.
okay, great. So, if there are questions so far, uh, let me answer them, and then we can move and then make progress from there. If there are questions, yeah.
Okay. So, guys, if you have questions, this is your opportunity with Theodore. If you have questions, drop your questions in the comment section. If you want to speak up, we can drop the link on the comment section too. You can come up and we pick you one by one for the live question. That's if you're interested in speaking up or being brought up to the studio. Yeah, thank you.
All right, maybe I might just okay. I'll just go on.
Okay.
Usually, I'll just share a quote by someone I respect very well. He captured um, the issue that we're talking about, and I quote. Let me read it and then just shed some light on it. The biggest challenge in developing good business ideas is understanding what people want and need. Uh, you have to be able to empathize with your customers and understand what they are looking for. His name is James Altucher. Now, if you look at if you look at what he just said, he made a very critical point concerning how that businesses just spring up without some good understanding, of what their customers, their potential customers want. Because you're building a business, you're building for someone, right? Whatever you're building, there's a target customer. There's someone who you want, to buy the product or to use the services. You build with someone in mind, right? You're not building for yourself. It's not about what you want or what you think. All right. So, okay. Let me answer. Somebody says I need more light on customer persona. So, persona, it's a canvas, that enables you to understand who your customer is. What does it look like? Um, like who does my customer look like? It just enables you to understand who your customer looks like. Then you follow the person. Now it helps you with um, psychography and also demographic. Now, psychographic is his lifestyle, what he likes, um, his worth. Now, because if you know things like that, I know your worth, I know your lifestyle, I know you're stylish, I know you like things big, you like to show off, things like that. So if I understand you very well, I will be able to customize, all right, build around those things and then, deliver to you, right? There are other things like your age, stuff like that. Yeah, you're male or a female, that kind of information. So the persona, you just put yourself into somebody's shoe, and then at the end of the day, you come up with something and then you work with it. It's something I will share with Pascal, most likely share with you guys. These are things that will really help give you clarity of who your customer is. Segments, in trying to know customer segments, you might find your customers in three or four or five segments. If you do a close look, if you do a good job, you might find them in that segment. The idea is for you to discover them and go in them and pull them one after the other, right? I tell you a story. Um, okay, I'll talk. Okay, so I just talked about um, the persona, right? The customer persona. Okay, so I'll talk about lean model canvas, or lean canvas. Lean canvas just helps you in building, right? It helps you again bring clarity about the solution you are offering and then the problem you are trying to solve, right? Identify the problem and then the solution vis-a-vis, and then it helps you with, come up with some form of clarity in terms of um, the delivery, your value proposition. The value proposition is actually the value you intend to give the customer, right? So that's your value proposition. All right, the offer of value. The offer of value is value proposition. And then you have things like relationship. You have things like who is helping you providing the service. Who are the people that will help you? Do you need external hands? Do you need more like a human capacity? Yeah, people that will enable you provide that service or value. And then uh, how you're making money, revenue model, right? And things like that, and even budget. What are the things you need that will ensure that you provide that value? These are the things you will see, in lean model or lean canvas. Then BMC, it's usually BMC is a prerequisite to business plan. It gives you clarity too. It helps you come up with a value proposition. A value proposition is just one statement that tells your potential customer, or yeah, what you provide. For instance, I usually use an example of a kitchen, right? A restaurant rather. So I'll say it this way: uh, we provide healthy, affordable, and tasty meals. Now, three values in one, right? Healthy, affordable, and tasty meals. People like tasty meals. Of course, I don't want to eat something like I'm eating grass, right? I want it to be tasty. I should feel nice after eating whatever it is from the restaurant. Then affordability, man, money is issue, right? Money is real problem. With inflation, with high inflation right now, trust me, you want affordability. In fact, it cuts across everything, and not even food. So you want to look at that too. Then healthy, come on, you want to be healthy now. I don't want to finish eating your food and then start going to the hospital. Where's the money? Do you understand? Money now should be people stay fit, stay healthy. You can't afford drugs are very expensive. By the way, I came back. I wasn't really feeling fine on Saturday. I went to the pharmacy to get some drugs. You don't want to know how much I spent, even though I'm feeling good right now. But drugs are becoming very expensive. Things are becoming so. You want those to. So these are the values, right? Your value proposition. You can craft it in a way and manner that captures the value you are offering for your customers or your potential customers, right? So yeah. So basically, these are some of the things that these tools can help. We'll share them. Pascal will share it, of course, with you guys. So I was going to tell you a story. There's this guy, a very respected gentleman, who works with one of the telcos. It's doing very well. It's like he has been like he's a coach and a mentor to so many startups, founders. He's been doing very well. So at some point in his life, he thought that it's time for me to stop working for somebody, so to say, and start up my own business. As highly placed as he is, he decided, okay, he has always wanted to. start a business, a food chain, something like the big guys who are what are they? Mr. Biggs, are they still? I'm not seeing them in a while. I don't know if they're still uh, operating, but something like that, a very fancy restaurant where people can come. Gen Z. There's food for everyone. You know, the millennials, the Gen Z, and what have you, all coming in to just have a nice time and enjoy themselves. So for him, he wanted to prioritize the taste. So he went for a chef, got a chef from some 4 5 star, level to cook his meal. That is done, and after a while, I mean, business is not really making sense. So that's what you do as an entrepreneur, as a founder. You go back to the table, have meetings, series of meetings, do checks. What's really going on? We're not making profit. We're not making money. Nobody's coming. Apart from the day you launched the restaurant, there's large people, support coming in, but people have not been coming. Even your good friends are not coming there to eat. What's going on? You know. So he now thought about. So he now, because he's paying, he's spending lots of money. He's paying the chef lots of money. So he now sacked the chef, brought in someone, not on the same level with the guy he sacked. After a while, business didn't improve. It didn't at all. So he kept researching, trying to find out what the problem is. We're problem solvers, right? We are. So finally it clicked. He figured out that you shouldn't be investing in the chef. You should invest more in ambience, right? So he brought the place down. Sorry, he brought the place down, and I mean, made the ambience, created a very sweet ambience, sweet environment, everywhere looking fresh, good, fine. And he noticed that business improved. People started coming in. So it wasn't really about the food. You need to figure out that. Now, this is what you begin to figure out as you walk this journey. You will realize that certain things that were premium for you, certain things that your mind was on, like you were sure that if we get this right, everything will just, begin to flow. But it might not be. So until that's what I'm saying. This space is very flexible. You try this, it doesn't work. Try another one, it doesn't work. Try this approach, keep trying things until you get it right. Most times you might not even be the one that will get it right. Probably it might just be acquisition. You just sell it, somebody will just buy it, and you make your money. So you keep holding on to something like that, you have to let it go. So letting go is part of it too. So, but in this case, he just changed the ambience. Place looking nice, sweet. People kept coming. He brought in a normal guy who just cooks regular food. And that's it. Money started coming in, business became very good. So everywhere good. So I'm just saying this story. Why am I saying this? Because even if you thought that you have done good research, right? You figured out, you got your numbers, you've done your qualitative and qualitative research. I mean, you've touched the base. You are very good. There might be issues ahead. So how to go around it matters. It's your mind again, thinking, going back, research, you know, doing this thing all over again. It's part of it. You might go back to the drawing board and say, what did we get right? What did we not get right? You figure it out, right? So Very, very critical. Very, very critical. So, um, again, one of the things that I really want us to look at is okay, we're still talking about, how do you empathize with your customers and understand what they are really looking for. Empathy is critical in this space. They will tell you how they want it if you empathize, right? Yeah, very, very important. Now, I'll just reiterate the importance of market research once more. Market dynamics, critical, right? Uh, Identify your target audience and their needs. Analyze your competition. Remember, I said you have to look out for your competition, or they usually have something that they have not been able to grasp. That might just be your breakthrough once you figure it out. And you can't figure it out like that until you research them properly and very well, assess them, right? So these are the things that will help enable you to make decision, informed business decision that will help you succeed in this journey. It will reduce risks and also increase your chances of success, right? Um, Now, let me just put it this way. Uh, some of the basic steps to validate the idea, right? To validate your business idea, right? That's idea generation. Like uh, one of the ways, again, I've done a lot of generated ideas brainstorming. We just sit down, we bring ideas, everybody says his mind, and then we refine it and then we'll come up with something. We've done that. It works a lot. It works when you work in a corporate organization where you're looking for an idea for a product or a service that you want to um, launch. So usually you come together and brainstorm. That's another very critical way to um, come up with ideas and then validate them. At that point, you have people coming up, sharing based on their experiences. So usually um, and the way it's done, the structure is done in a way and manner that the idea will be put to test, it will be evaluated, and to ensure that it's feasible, yeah, enough, for it to go to the next phase, before approvals and all that. But in this case, most times we generate these ideas ourselves. We only run it through with someone, uh, and even if the person get to tell us something that we don't like because of bias, we're humans. We have this thing with us. So we don't get to listen. So until we feel, most times we don't get to realize. So yeah. So generating ideas, sometimes, you just like pain. I mentioned pain. Because of pain, you come up with an idea, to solve that pain. And then sometimes you conceive it, maybe in dreams, or these are ways to generate ideas, right? And then consider sometimes even your passion for something. I'm passionate about something and you just want to solve it. Sometimes expertise is what we call founder industry fit. I'm a doctor, so I'm in the health tech. I want to come up with a health tech, a solution in the health tech, right? So because I'm the doctor, it's easy for me. I do consultation online. I provide, all those things. I minister, so it's easy because you are the one who is the main guy. So because of that, you just want to you know, uh, help people beyond just meeting them physically. You want to meet people also, leveraging on technology. So you build a platform that allows for telemedicine, and then also consultation online. So things like that. So yeah, because you have that expertise, right? And then market trend or trends. You have market trends. You can also see ideas. You see things that are trending, and you say, "Oh, what if I could?" Since this is really trending and everyone is out for it. Oh, you look at 200 million people in Nigeria. Oh, if I could do this, even if it's just 1% of 200 million people, 1%, 2% is enough for me. So I will do my bit. So we begin to, you know, come up with a solution around that market trend, right? So these are some of the ways that you can do that. Then market research, identify target market, which I talked about very well. Segments, that's the market target segments. I tell you, in the market segment, there are other segments that you could also look. If you look very well, you'll be able to see customers that will patronize your product or service. Now, that we talked about customer surveys, we talked about interviews, we talked about analyzing industry reports and making and market data. I talked about competitive analysis, right, where you have to identify, do direct and indirect competitors, those who are offering the same thing or similar in that particular space, and then analyze their strengths, weaknesses, and market positioning. Then come up with something that can really make the difference. I mean, the difference rather. So one of the steps again to validate, I talked about MVP, your minimal viable product. Could be a landing page. Most times, coming up with an MVP, I don't know. It depends on where you're operating, the sector. Uh, so much money can go into producing an MVP, especially if it's a prototype.
Hi everyone, can you hear? If you can hear me, please indicate in the comment section. I think Theodore is having challenges with his network. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please comment on the comment section. Can you hear me? Okay, so I think the challenge is with Theodore's network. So I think he will join in back soon. He will join in back. Okay, he's back.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I was going to talk about some of the practical steps you can take to validate your business idea. Um, I talked about um, okay, I was talking about how to develop a minimum viable product, your MVP, create a prototype or a simplified version of your product or service. Now that will help you to collect data, right, for your potential customers. You understand what they really like and how they want it or how they like it. Then you give it back to them, and that will also help you to iterate and then improve based on the feedback that you have gotten from them. Very, 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 very important. Then test and measure. Yeah. Conduct market tests on pilot studies, measure customer response and engagements. If there are KPIs, then see whether you're meeting those KPIs. Then refine and pivot. Yes. Evaluate your results and your measurements. Make necessary adjustments if you have to. You know that story that I told you. What these guys did. The audio who is that is now Twitter, and that dating sites that finally became YouTube. They pivoted. They were open-minded. They took data. They knew that hey, the first guys just knew that we can't compete with Apple. Let's tell ourselves the truth. They pivoted, and that was how they got discovered by the young Jack Dorsey at that time. He was already an engineer, software engineer. So together they built that, and then you have what we have now, a micro blogging, app. So today, a new owner has it now. So, so these are the things that happen, But you have to get it right. It starts from, starting on the good, footing, right? What are there low hanging fruit that you don't need to start from the top. Start small and grow and learn in the process. This space, there's no shortcut. You have to go through it. I'm not scaring you, but due diligence is expected. You have to follow it through to the end. All right. So I mentioned earlier that you have to define research objectives and then come up with questions, and then choose the appropriate research methods that you want to use. I mentioned surveys, interviews, focus groups where you have people, deliberate and then come up with something. Uh, it's more like there's a lot of it has a lot of brainstorming components in it. Focus groups, yeah, and then observations through. You can just observe and learn. Yeah, a lot can be achieved and be done by observation. Trust me, it has worked for me. So I observe a lot of things from a distance, and I get them right. But if you are good with observation, why not? It's part of the ways that you can get these things done. And collect and analyze your data. Uh, so is it the qualitative, which is numbers and statistics, or qualitative, which is opinions and insights? So these are some of the ways that you can do that. Interpret your findings, and then you know so there are a lot of research tools you can have very available these days. We have some of them that have been powered by AI, and all that, just to help you. If you have, do that, because the algorithms are designed to help with AI. Can even give you near, like, very, very perfect um, insight into what's happening in the market. So as far as research is concerned, so yeah. So the very basic, you have the questionnaire, you have type form, you have uh, monkey. Is it Survey Monkey? Yeah, Survey Monkey. Yeah, these are things that can help you. Even Google Doc does that. Google Forms, all that. Help you just come up, craft, a questionnaire, put it out there, get the, what Google does. Google Form does, it does even gives you pictorial, interpretation, of your analysis. So that will help you, to do that. Yeah. So I think that will be that for from me. If there are questions, then we can do due diligence uh to these questions. Thank you once again.
Okay, thank you very much, Theodore. Please, if you have questions, drop your question in the comment section. And someone wanted to come up the other time to ask a
Okay.
question. I can't remember the person. So, if you are the one that joined in while Theodore was speaking, if you are the one that joined in, you can rejoin again. You have the link to StreamYard. I'm sending it again. So if you want to be brought up to the studio to ask your question, I've sent the link now. You can join through the link I just sent so that you ask your question. Otherwise, we'll be rounding up this session right now. So, I believe we've answered the question on customer persona. Someone asked question around, I need more light on those three tools. I think we've answered this question, Theodore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
okay. So the person that joined last that wanted to ask a question, perhaps is no more in the session. So we'll be rounding up. If you have questions, finally, if you have questions, drop in your questions now. So while we're waiting for the questions, if they have any, so Theodore, I would like to request, would you be sharing your slides or any material with them?
Yes, I will. I have a material I'll share.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
okay, that's fine. Thank
Mm.
you very much.
And I'll also share the tools, those canvases. They're about three or four canvases. There's idea validation canvas as well. I'm going to share that again. I'll share that also.
Okay, so Gianni, you can ask your question.
Good afternoon. I'm Gianni, founder of Trade Hunt. I am from South Africa. I've been
Oh,
listening
great.
to you, sir, and I wanted to ask you something. I've
Okay.
been looking at quite a number of mobile applications, especially the ones from countries like America. And it seems like when they launch, within a set period of time, they are able to acquire plus minus 100,000 to 1 million users within a couple of weeks to months. But I haven't seen quite a lot of African mobile applications doing that. What can we do differently so that we can acquire 1 million plus users within a year to time frame period instead of waiting up to 5 to 10 years, like most of the startups have been seeing?
I think that okay, fantastic. It's very critical. I love the question. It will really bring clarity to to everyone. I think one of the major issue about mobile phone is the mobile usage. Adoption is critical. Because of our adoption, is technology adoption is slow in Africa, right? It tends to affect the way we look at things and then utilize them. People are beginning to be comfortable using their mobile phones to do certain things. Things like, especially in the fintech space, only recently people began to use fintech apps to make transactions. So it tells you that we still there's a gap, that's still there, and it's only time that will close that gap. As we move every year, you begin to see the numbers that are slow. Even the numbers, if you see the data in in terms of people who are using smartphones, right? You have to have a smartphone, right, to be able to have apps installed in your phone. And so, if you look at the data, it's not growing. It has not really improved in the way and manner it should from last year, 2023. I mean, 2022 and 2023. You see the data. There's no much growth that has happened. It tells you that where adoption rate is slow, that's why you find out, that's why you see that in America they're too advanced. You can't compare the ecosystem what we have here. This is about the technology ecosystem. This is about people comfortable with using smartphones to do transactions, to do all kinds of things. It's about people. It's about the knowledge. It's about exposure. It's about the knowledge they have, knowing what they can achieve and what they can get using smartphones. So it's for me, I feel, and I can say this categorically, now with my chest, open, that it is about the adoption, and it's a journey for us in Africa, but it's very, very slow. um
Mm,
People right now, how much is, if you look at the cost of a smartphone, right, and how many people who can even
mm,
utilize it the way it should. I have people who I know buy big smartphones that hardly even use 2 or 3% of the resources that the
mm,
phone
mm,
has, or what it can
mm,
capable of achieving. So these are the issues that we have. So whether you are learning, either you're using your smartphone to learn a course online, or you're using it for bank transaction, or you're using it for even your socials, whether social media or whatever you have. So it's really very slow. It's really, really slow. That's what's affecting that. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you. That was my biggest question, sir, because I'm in the fintech space myself, and I'm seeing that the traction isn't so great. The product is good. The people I have seen quite a good MVP conversion, and I've seen that I've achieved product market fit. But then, how do I now increase that usage space, especially organically, in a way that other countries are doing it themselves? And I think you've answered that accurately, sir. I appreciate that.
Okay, so once again, thank you for joining in. So Theodore has another meeting to join in. So we look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday. Normally our session holds anytime from 2 p.m. So if let's know if Theodore has any final words for you. Theodore, I don't know if you have any final words for them before we wrap up the session.
Yeah, of course. What I have is just to encourage you guys that do not skip this basic and very foundational step in building your businesses. It's very critical, trust me. You see, you have to get it right. There's so much competition out there, so it works for all people who have done their work or their homework. It only works for them, right? So um do not feel like, okay, this is going to slow me down. I have a timeline. I want to launch in May, because what this does to you automatically, if you intend to launch in a month's time, it means that you are going to launch in 2 months or 3 months time. So don't be too in a hurry to launch whatever it is. Do the due diligence and you'll catch up. The most important thing is to launch well, not to just rush into it and then you're regretting. It's very, very critical. Even your investors will know one way or the other. If you get to that point where you are beginning to think of bringing in investors to invest into your idea, they will begin to question some of these things. And then if you are not really strong enough, if you are not done this, then it will begin to show. It will show that, yeah, you're not really done. They begin to ask you questions, and it becomes very embarrassing if you're not really done your due diligence, because it's numbers. You should be able to tell them the market size. You have to tell them things like your time, SAM, and some. Maybe that's just for another day or something we'll talk about another day. But they are very, very critical. So that's it for me. Thank you very much. God bless.
Okay, so thank you very much, Theodore, for getting out your time to share your knowledge, experience, insights over the years working with startups. So everyone, so thank you for joining this session, and your next session is coming up on Wednesday. Sorry, on Thursday. So the details will be shared with you on the group. So once
Oh,
again, thank
all
you
right.
very much,
Thank you.
Theodore.
God bless.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we wish you the best of the day
Thank,
and the week
thank you.
ahead.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
bye
Thank you so much.
everyone. Bye.